Thank you, Ms. Vasudevan, for joining in. Given your area of focus on startups, you get excited when you look at youngsters bubbling with ideas and innovations. Tell me, under the fintech umbrella, it's a huge space. It has multiple segments under it. What is that one space that excites you the most?
Growth from the bottom of the pyramid, which basically means looking at places like agri-fintech. It's a very large number. It can also include creative economy, which is about 300 to 600 million people. And if you get those things right, so let's take two examples around creative economy. If you get the GI tagging done for your crafts, food items, the amount they can earn goes up by 30 to 40%. So which means you will have individuals, and many of them women in the self-help groups, making more money, but it'll also improve the quality of life because it's moving forward. Many of their activities include hyper-local sustainable practices. So it cuts across multiple areas and it's wealth creation, and they will no longer be looked at as bottom of the pyramid. You have to be giving them, advantages. You look at them as entrepreneurs who can take things forward. Same thing on the agri side. If you do that, transformation is possible, especially with digital agri, which the government has put in place. It's a bit like UPI in 2013. That's where we are. If you get it right in the next 10 years, the transformation will be huge.
Any other sector you would want to highlight?
Yes, deep tech. Now, if you're looking at deep tech, we keep talking about AI, and absolutely AI is going to be transformation. But it is very, very energy guzzling. So you've already had Piyush Goyal and others saying all our ACs should be set at 24 degrees. It's quite warm. If you don't like that, there are people who are calling out that. Possibilities of looking at quantum AI, which means energy efficiency, while you're tackling lots of issues, is a possible way to go forward. So and that'll enable us to leapfrog from where we are, not just in terms of solving things, but in terms of becoming more effective in the way we use it.
Now, from a different perspective, in the later half of 2023 and also all of 2024 was little muted from an investor's standpoint. Investors were really cautious of where they're putting in money, where they're investing. How do you observing the sentiment right now? And if you can give us 3 areas where an investor should put money, go for it.
I won't give you any areas where investors should put money, because they should talk to their wealth managers who will give them the advice which SEBI has given them a license for. But on a very practical level, I come from traditional financial sector, which means if you make money, you're growing your revenue as well as making money, then I think you're worth it. Just valuations without making money and profitability doesn't appeal to me. And I think most investors are moving down that path. They recognize, yes, you need deep pockets. But that doesn't mean just because if you say, I'll wait for 5 years, 10 years, that's fine. But you are conscious about that 5-10 year wait. That's where the patient capital kind of thought process comes in. So if you want quick returns, 3 years, 5 years, go for mutual funds and standard things. If you're looking at alternate investments, like your startups or scale-ups, please look at a longer term horizon. And personally, I think if you look at even longer term horizons of 15, 20 years, you will transform the world.
Interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I must thank you and appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you.